We all want to glance into the future, to open the wheel of secrecy, to make some predictions. We also want to look into the future of tourism, whether we'll once easily travel to other planets or not. In this video, we'll follow the Tourism Towards 2030 long-term forecast by World Tourism Organization and we'll determine the prospects of tourism development. Let's get acquainted with Tourism Towards 2030 long-term forecast. In order to satisfy our curiosity and to make the destinations be ready to tourism development and its consequences and take it into consideration in their strategic planning, World Tourism Organization published a broad research project of long-term forecasting. Central in the study are projections for international tourism flows in the 2 decades 2010-2030. Looking at the graph characterizing the growth dynamics of international tourism arrivals from 1950 and to the perspective until 2030, one can note steady growth. International tourist arrivals worldwide are expected to increase by 3.3% a year between 2010 and 2030 to reach 1.8 billion by 2030, according to World Tourism Organization's long-term forecast, Tourism Towards 2030. It's equally interesting to see how the expectations of experts correlated with actual data. Indeed, only if the experts' forecasts regarding the growth rate of international tourist arrivals come true, we can trust the forecast until 2030. As we can see, the experts' expectations are even somewhat exceeded by real indicators. Practically only in a few cases the experts' expectations were overstated, as for example during the global economic crisis of 2009-2010. But you can also notice that the industry has recovered quickly. But there are also some tricky aspects about tourism development in advanced and emerging economies that need to be mentioned. In 1980, 70% of international arrivals were recorded in the traditional destinations of the advanced economies of North America, Europe, and Asia and the Pacific. In 2030, 58% will be recorded in the emerging economy destinations of Asia, Latin America, Central and Eastern Europe, Eastern Mediterranean Europe, the Middle East and Africa. International arrivals in emerging economy destinations are expected to keep growing at double the pace, plus 4.4% a year of advanced economy ones, plus 2.2% a year. Sounds good, but the number of international arrivals received in emerging economies is still modest compared to the size of their population. In terms of the number of international tourist arrivals received per 100 of population, there is still a large distance between advanced and emerging economies. Talking about the future, we simply can't avoid talking about sustainability. Sustainable development is a development in which the needs of the present generation is met without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their needs. Expressed simply, sustainable tourism can be defined as tourism that takes full account of its current and future economic, social and environmental impacts, addressing the needs of visitors, the industry, the environment and the host communities. Sustainability principles refer to the environmental, socio-cultural and economic aspects of tourism development, and a suitable balance must be established between these three dimensions to guarantee its long-term sustainability. Thus, sustainable tourism should make optimal use of environmental resources, respect the socio-cultural authenticity of host communities and contribute to intercultural understanding and tolerance, ensure viable, long-term economic operations, providing socio-economic benefits to all stakeholders that are fairly disturbed. The One Planet Sustainable Tourism Program by World Tourism Organization started operating in November 2014. It has the overall objective to enhance the sustainable development impacts of the tourism sector by 2030 by developing, promoting and scaling up the sustainable consumption and production practices that boost the efficient use of natural resources while producing less waste and addressing the challenges of the climate change and biodiversity. So, when we travel sustainably, everyone benefits. Travel sustainably. So, in this video, we have studied tourism towards 2030 long-term forecast. The fact that international tourism arrivals will reach 1.8 billion by 2030. The number of international tourism arrivals in the emerging economy destinations is still modest compared to the size of their population. And we've got acquainted with the conception of sustainable tourism development.